for us. Um, Miss Micaela Esperida, lead the prayer for us. Could you please? Okay, you can start now.
Ma'am, sira daw po mic niya.
Okay. Okay, the floor will goes to Sobremonte. Okay, will you please lead the prayer for us, Mr. Sobremonte?
Okay, let us pray. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Gabayan mo po kami sa online class namin for practical sa lahat po na subject. Sana po maging successful yung online class po namin ngayon. Ay lang po, ma'am. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Okay, good morning everyone. How's everybody? Okay, Monday morning. Okay, good morning. Galaw-galaw po natin ang mga kamay natin. Okay? So for today, hindi na ako magpapaligoy-ligoy pa. Okay, practical research 2 tayo, checking, monitoring, revision of work. So, dyan muna tayo iikot, okay, until Friday, until our letter will be approved by the principal, okay, para after that, na kayo, defense and for sure, di pa nga kayo tapos sa mga pa-survey questionnaires nyo. Okay, so much for that. Are you ready for your upcoming defense? Yes or no?
Hindi pa po.
No.
Mm. Ayun. Dali, di ba? Mm.
Ma'am, may
No.
question po kami, pero mamaya na lang po namin sa GC na lang po.
Okay. Maybe after this discussion na lang. Okay? Okay, I'll be discussing to you the tips for research defense and common questions that asked during your, of course, research defense. Ayan, mga common questions. Ano ba yan? Mga late. Ang tagal ko ng ano. Okay, for your the first one na madalas na tanong before or during your defense, of course, is the tell us what your study all about. Okay, given the fact that you cannot give what you do not have. Yan yung mga note, take note of that word, of that quotation ko. Okay, hindi kayo makapagbibigay kung hindi nyo alam or wala kayong alam. Okay, ganun lang. Hindi nyo napag-aralan, okay, wala kayong baon na bala para sagutin lahat ng mga tanong ng mga research panelists natin. Okay, you have to give or tell us a background story of your study, even lang in a few sentences. Okay, kahit as long as, di ba, sa research, dapat direct ka magsalita, magsagot. Okay, tell us what your study all about. Background may refer to the origin of the problem or the issues. Okay, the definitions of the problem and and how it evolved and developed. So, yung mga kadalasan na itinatanong sa first one, tell us about your study all about, ayan yung siguro yung introduction part. Okay? Makikita dun yung introduction part dapat. Ano pa? So, ano pa ba? Sa pinakauna natin. What your research defense all about? What did you do? What did you find? Why does it matter? Ano pa? Why did you come up with that study? Okay? Bakit yan yung napili nyo? Una pa lang. Sasabihin na ng researchers nyo. Oh. Ano pa? You should talk about the motivations for the study, talk about the research problem you wanted to address, which made you embark on the study. Okay, you need to have a good response to that. Next is, what is your motivation in conducting your study? Okay, to feel anxious is okay, okay, during your research defense, and it's totally normal. All you have to do is to read, practice answering those questions, these questions na binibigay ko, and ano pa ba? Know the content, okay, yung mga nilalaman ng mga ano nyo. Read. Kung hindi nyo nabasa at all yung research nyo, then why do defense kung hindi wala kayong baon na bala man lang, 'di ba? Okay. Bakit 'tong mga late na mga 'to? Okay. Nawawala ako pag may nag-aano, papain. Just answer them directly. Okay, those questions, those ano pa, mga pwedeng ipadto sa inyo, just answer them directly. So, in what is your motivation in conducting your study? Ano ang nagtulak or nag-udyok? Ayan, tatagalogin na natin sa inyo para gawin ang research. Usually, it is focused on, specifically on the research problem that we have. Ano bang pwede dyan? Research problem.
Ma'am,
Yes.
tatanungin ba nila ako kung alam na namin yung gap dun sa gawa namin? Gap.
Oo. Ayun, ay wait lang. Mamaya yan. Sa limitations yan, di ba? Scope and limitations. Okay. Mamaya yan sa what limitation did you encounter during your study or in your study. Okay. Nandito pa lang tayo sa motivation. Ayan. In conducting your study. Ano bang pwede dito sa the research problem? Who are affected? Ano pa? What are the effects? Okay, you have to explain or expound to them anong bigay udyok sa inyo, bakit nyo nagawa yung study. Okay, what are the beneficial? Bakit nyo take note? You have to convince the panel members that there is a need to conduct in the study. Ganun lang. Okay, just be confident in answering these questions. Then, what is the significance for the third questions? What is the significance of the study? So, in here, ano bang pwede? Who will benefit from your study and what will be the benefits that they will gain or that they will get na lang. Ganon. Okay, ano bang mga benepisyo ang pwede nilang makuha dyan? Then you will need to state how your research work will help the researchers, educators, organizations, kung sino man ang pwedeng tao na, di ba, mga practitioners, policy makers, kung sino yung pag-i-studyhan nyo, di ba, the participants, ano yung magiging makukuha nila dyan sa study nyo. Okay, next, what limitations did you encounter in your study? Mga limitasyon. Diba? Ano ang mga limitasyon na nakita nyo sa research nyo? Take note. Ano ba? This is considered as a trick questions. Okay, kanina yung tinanong ni Ma'am, ni Miss Matienzo. Tama ba? Siya yung nagtanong. So, this is somewhat a trick questions. Usually, malalaman kung nagawa nyo ba ang objectives nyo, from the research objectives nyo, yung mga ninanais nyo na makuha, na data, okay. Usually, kung kinulang kayo sa oras, mga participants, you have to be transparent or to be honest in here, okay? For all the shortcomings na ano nyo. Say for example, ma'am, actually, to be honest, we have some shortcomings when it comes to resources. Yan, nagkulang kami sa time when conducting a survey. Ayan yung mga, or there is a gap, blah, blah, blah. Ano pwede yung i-ano dyan? I-consider para lusutan nyo. As long as hindi na aapektuhan ang result or output. Ganon. You have to be honest in here. Kasi may mga lapses tayo talaga. Limitations, gaps, hindi mawawala yon. There is no perfect, di ba? Hindi maiwasan na magkaroon ng somewhat shortcomings talaga. Okay, yun na lang. Yung mga aberya, yun. Next is the what methods or sampling techniques did you employ? Yung mga methods na tayo. Okay, dun sa methods, ano yung mga ginamit nyo? Ano-ano ang mga sampling o method na ginamit sa research? Sampling identifies the respondents of the research. Ayan, ito yung mga respondents, di ba? Kung gumamit kayo ng random sampling, purposive sampling, stratified random sampling, it's okay. Okay, I know marami pa kayong nagamit. Then, what are the findings of your study? So usually in here you will find this, of course, in the summary of findings. Okay, I think your findings should be aligned with the statement of the problem or what we call the SOP. Okay, okay, the conclusion. Sa conclusion yung makikita ata to. For the number 7, based on your findings, what are your recommendations? Ano pwede mong mairekomenda? So, this is usually the findings are based on statement of the problem again or your SOP. The conclusion is based on the findings or the answers of hypothesis. Kung gumawa man kayo ng hypothesis, di ba? Next is the recommendation also is based on the conclusion. Dapat meron. So those are the questions na pwedeng itanong sa research nyo, sa research defense nyo. Alam ko marami pang tanong na pwedeng ibato. Ano pa ba? Um, if you could change something regarding your study, what would it be and why? O, di ba may pag ganon? Mga Miss Universe na tanong yan. Ano pa ba? O, if you could change something regarding your study, what would it be and why? O, di ba? May pag ganon. Ano, paano mo sasagutin yan? So, your answers to these questions can be gotten from the limitations of your study. Yung mga gaps na ano nyo, mga shortcomings na nangyari. So, ayun, if you given a chance or if you have given a time to more to revise it, ganon, blah, blah, blah. Okay, given the constraints like the short time frame for the research or lack of sufficient funds, yung sabi ko kanina, mga resources that you have, okay, I was working with, this is why I was able to do, but if I do more, this is what I would have done. Yan, may mga ganun kayo dapat mga pakulo. Okay, this is what I have done. I'm doing this, I learned from a problem with this kind of data collection. Next time, I will do this way. Next time, I will do that way. Ganon. Ano pa? Ano pa bang questions na pwede nyong anuhin? Do you have any closing comments? What questions do you have for us sa mga ano mo na yan? Okay? May possible din na pwede kayong magtanong sa panel members. Okay? Hindi lang dapat sila yung nagtatanong, dapat kayo din, 'di ba? Para may nahuhut-hut kayo. 'Di ba? May nakukuha kayo din knowledge sa kanila. For the bonus tips, ayan. Mainam na malinaw sa inyo ang lahat. Meaning to say, kung malinaw sa'yo, of course, malinaw din sa kausap nyo. Sino yung kausap nyo? Of course, your panel members. Okay? It should be clear and understandable for you. Okay? The content, yung mga nilalaman, should be able to study of. Okay? Dapat alam na alam mo. You have the confidence to answers all those questions. Next, magsulat ng comments, suggestions, and recommendation. This is very, very important. Okay? Lalo na kung may sasabihin silang mga magagandang suggestions, comments, recommendation na pwedeng magpa-improve, magpa-grow sa study nyo, sa research study nyo. 'Di ba? Ganon. Okay, ano pa? Be academically, mentally, physically prepared for your presentation on your defense. Okay? Practice, practice, practice. Okay? Because practice makes perfect. Rehearse several times for those questions. Then, kahit yung pagsasalita nyo, di ba? Yung hindi kayo, as long as di kayo nauutal, hindi nakikita yung nervousness. Okay? It's okay to feel anxious. It's okay to feel, nervous all the time. Pero, syempre, kung nagpa-practice ka, di ba? less na lang yung kaba. Okay? Okay lang naman yung ganon. Naiintindihan naman yung mga yung mga feeling na ganon. Okay? Pero as long as you are practicing, as long as you can be able to um, cope up um, overcome the nervousness that you have, then you can ace the defense, of course, 'di ba? Ano pa ba? Make eye contact, 'di ba? Kapag face to face naman, ay ka eye contact now that we can be able through the new normal din, then makakapag ano na lang tayo, open cam siguro. Ayan. Eye contact, then do hand gestures kung possible, 'di ba? Kung hindi makikita mukha lang or your face. Makikita naman 'yan doon. Ano pa, don't speak too fast. Okay? Talk calmly. Excuse me. Talk confidently. Ano pa? Yes. Oh, yes. You are raising your hand, Sarzosa.
Ma'am, need pa po mag-formal attire.
Yes, of course. Nandun pa rin yung kahit pang taas lang, kahit yung
Open
pambaba.
cam po.
Opo, open cam na. Siyempre. Practical research na to. We have to be formal, okay? In academic, di ba? Be ready on how to answers and you will, yan, formal tayo, formal attire from top lang. Kahit hindi yung sa baba na. Okay? Naka-open cam, yes po. Ano pa? Taglish will do, yes. Taglish will do. Okay lang. Kung hindi um, ma-execute ng English lahat, 'di ba? At least may English nang naisasabi. Okay? Taglish will be surely okay. Ano pa? Bring,
Ma'am,
of
kilala na po
course,
yung analyst.
mga panelists nyo. O, yung research teacher pa rin si Sir Kenji, Sir
Si Sir
Sena, kung
Jero.
hindi sila okay? Kukuha ako sa ibang mga, na lang, kung sino man nagtuturo ng research para at least, di ba, yung may masasabi talaga sila, hindi yung may maano lang. Ganun ang gusto ko. May isa-suggest sa inyo, may maiko-comments. Okay? Ganun dapat, hindi yung natatakot kayo sa mga feedback. Okay? You have to be open to those comments to you. Kasi kung wala yun, how can you be able to improve? 'Di ba? How can you be able to grow? How can you be able to navigate more about those knowledge na gusto nyo pang malaman? Okay? So I have here a video, a person who is defending his research defense. Ayan. Kung mamarapatin ay kayo ay makinig para naman may knowledge kayo upon defending your research. So are you ready? Okay? Ready na ba
Yes,
makinig?
ma'am.
Okay. Anin ko lang yung naririnig ba?
Hindi po. Walang audio.
Ma'am, wala pong audio, ma'am.
Okay, ayusin ko lang.
Ma'am, wala pa din po. Ma'am, wala pa din pong audio. Hello? Narinig niyo ba ako?
Ah,
Walang audio, di ba?
economy
Ma'am,
has
wala,
been taking huge
ma'am, wala
blows.
pa po.
Many businesses are being shut down, and an enormous number of jobs have been lost. And due to the guidelines in place, most of us are
Opo, ma'am, okay na po.
relegated or stuck inside. And with this, it was one, a research advisor, Mr. Bayma, the COVID-19 uh, pandemic in Carmona, Cavite. So before I start, I wanted to convey my sincerest gratitude to my research advisor, Mr. Ryan Chester Caro, for helping me and guiding me with this study. And I would also like to acknowledge the presence of our panelists uh, for lending me your time to assess this study and presentation. So again, my name is Jansel Arvilla Hermosa from grade 12 ABMA. Let us begin with chapter 1 for a brief introduction of the study. So to begin, the COVID-19 pandemic has wreaked havoc all around the globe, and life as we knew it has changed fundamentally. And aside from the fact that many are facing health problems, the economy has been taking huge blows. Many businesses are being shut down, and an enormous number of jobs have been lost. And due to the guidelines in place, most of us are relegated or stuck inside. And with this, it will inevitably increase the demand for delivery services. And the demand for this will provide us the goods that we would otherwise be buying on our own outside in stores and whatnot. So due to this spike in demand, there will inherently be more job openings for delivery workers. But despite this positive opportunity for those who are currently unemployed, this job has many risks, especially in this time of the pandemic. And this is what the researcher aimed to discover as they interviewed delivery workers who took on the challenge and became essential workers, delivering goods and packages to our doorsteps, going out into the world so we don't have to. Okay, so now for the theoretical framework. This study is anchored on the Herzberg motivation theory, or otherwise known as two-factor theory, which states that in a work environment, employees are motivated either positively or negatively. The positive factors are called the motivators, and these are the following. These could be the achievement in your workplace, the recognition, interesting work, responsibility, advancement, and growth. Uh, these factors are what makes employee work better. Uh, on the other hand, the negative factors are what turns an employee off, which tends to make them underperform and do bad in the work environment. So these are called the hygiene factors. So this could be the bad policies, supervision, relationships, working condition, salary, status, and security. So again, to summarize, here's the operational framework. This study is anchored again on the Herzberg motivation theory, which assumes that the performance of workers are influenced by two main factors. These factors are the motivators, which push an employee to work harder and better, while on the other hand, the hygiene factors are the unfavorable job factors that demotivates employees in their job. So moving on to the statement of the problem. This study aims to find out new discoveries on the experiences and difficulties that the delivery workers have. So this research responds to the following questions. First is, what have the participants experienced while delivering goods and packages? For the second core question of this study, how have the participants conquered their challenges of being a delivery worker? So as for the assumptions in the study, first is that the participants have developed skills to improve and stabilize their job performance. And the second is the participants have been able to provide and sustain for their families through their honed skills and improved performance. Moving on now to the scope and delimitation. The researcher will be conducting through the help of 5 delivery workers making deliveries here in Carmona, Cavite. This is regardless of their age or the delivery platform that they're working for. And these recorded interviews will reveal the information about the delivery workers' experiences as they go on with their job on a day-to-day basis. So let us move on to the significance of the study. So this study can provide insights and knowledge to the lived experiences of the delivery workers. And alongside with the advantages and disadvantages, this can contribute immensely to the general knowledge. So first, the first beneficiary is to the delivery workers first and foremost. So especially to those who are currently experiencing difficulties on the road, they can be provided with the knowledge so that they can acquire new skills to make their job easier and more comfortable. Next is for the economy of the Philippines. We can also benefit from this because through this research, the government will be able to see the problems that these workers are going through and the difficulties they face, and they can resolve these issues, making the delivery services in our country more profitable. Uh, Third, the Carmona citizens can also benefit from this research since it focuses on the experiences of the delivery workers, and it can provide awareness to the citizens about the difficulties that they have, which can help them be more empathetic and considerate to the workers. Fourth is to the unemployed and jobless. They can also benefit from this study because even they will be more knowledgeable and equipped about the delivery industry, helping them gain more insight and knowledge to handle this job if and when they choose to be a courier or a rider. And lastly, this study can serve as a good foundation for future researchers since this will be beneficial to provide information for future studies related to business or the delivery industry as a whole. And future researchers can also use the recommendations written in the study for further innovations and adjustments. Okay, so now moving forward with the methodology of this study, starting with the research design and sources of data. So for the purpose of describing the life experiences of the delivery workers, the researcher employed the phenomenological research design, which focuses on identifying and analyzing what the participants had in common as they experienced a phenomenon. Moving on to the sources of data, it will mostly be gathered from the multiple interviews from the participants, but to provide an in-depth background and meaningful answers to the research problems, I have also cited books, online journals, periodicals in this study. So for the participants of the study, it will consist again of 5 delivery workers making deliveries here in Carmona, Cavite amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. And this will also be through utilizing the purposeful criterion sampling strategy. Next, we'll be moving on to the data gathering procedure. So first, the researcher will select the participants with the help of 5 delivery workers. And after gaining permission, the interview schedules will be set, or sometimes on the spot, and then the interviews will be conducted. And in some cases, these interviews will be conducted in an online space like Google Meet, which will be recorded for the sake of the study. Now, for the overview of the treatment and analysis of data, these are the following steps that were considered. First is bracketing. So it is in which all previous experiences of the participants were set aside only to focus on what was relevant or what the experiences or related to the phenomenon. Next is the horizontalization, and by which the transcriptions from the previous interviews will be read and the significant statements will be set aside and highlighted. Then these significant statements will be used to form clusters, which will be used to write then the textual description, then the structural description. Then from these descriptions, the researcher will write a composite description or an overall essence that presents the participants' lives as they experience being a delivery worker amidst this COVID-19 pandemic. So, moreover, in terms of ethical consideration, the researcher asked permission from the school administrator administrators, and most importantly, the participants of the study if they consent to being interviewed. So, uh, we'll now be moving on to the results and discussion. So, to start, we will be looking at some of the significant answers of the participants, translated, of course, in English. So, I will be reading some of the uh, transcriptions, interview answers. So, first, in this job, in this job, you just deliver. You also have control over your time. Uh, the salary depends on you. If you work diligently, you earn more. Uh, yes, we have insurance here if you get sick. If you want to go on vacation, you can go on vacation leave. So after analyzing these statements, the theme clusters or the clustering will be commenced. So it will be formed in grouping the significant statements into themes or meaningful units. So uh, here are the themes divided into two groups. So the first group is Group A. So the Group A theme clusters were formulated to answer the central questions of the study as reflected in the statement of the problem. So the first question, again, is what have the participants experienced while delivering goods and packages? Then the second group answers the second central question of how have the participants conquered the difficulties of being a delivery worker? So to go into detail, the first theme delves into being a delivery worker as a better alternative. The pandemic has cut down a large portion of the world's workforce, and the delivery work being an essential avenue in our society, it offers a good opportunity for those who are unemployed or those who have been let go from their previous job. And also it is much better than other low-paying or minimum wage jobs out there. Then the next theme is the benefits, or the second theme aims to find out if the workers are still being exploited and treated as freelancers, not being supplied the job benefits normally entitled to regular employees. But it turns out they are being given insurance and incentives, which gives them a layer of security that since their job entails many risks, since they're out on the road being exposed to the elements and various dangers. For the third theme, or the final text, writes as the regular. We will be moving on to into detail on the first workers as they delivered goods. Theme it were drawn. So for the first conclusion, the participants have found that being a rider or a courier is a better alternative than other low-paying jobs, and it was a way to gain income since some, as listed here, of Carmona, allowing them to in our society workers the hardships, people, especially the participants, they still kept moving forward, and even if it's at a slow pace, they looked ahead at the horizon, looking for a better tomorrow. So, on a final note, that ends my presentation. I sincerely appreciate your attention today, despite the possible technical difficulties that we have. I truly appreciate that we've had this opportunity to present. I've had this opportunity to present my research study in your presence, and I hope that you learned a little something from this presentation. And for further inquiries, I am now open for your questions as well as your suggestions regarding my study. Thank you again.
Okay.
Ma'am, ang galing daw po nung nag-present. Sabi ni Mika, ano daw po pangalan?
Hello, ma'am. Excuse
Ma'am?
po. Your audio is not working pa din po. Di na daw gumana mic. Okay po. Ma'am, magpapacheck kami pala ng gawa right now. I mean, joke lang, Chloe.
Sino, anong papacheck natin? Sino yun?
Ha? Wala yun. Guni-guni mo lang. Kasi nakalagay dun kanina checking monitoring support.
Hello, hello.
Yo, wag mo
Hello,
na.
ma'am.
Oh, so napanood nyo
Ay,
na.
nag-echo po.
Ay, nag-e-echo. Wait, wait. Okay na?
Yes po, ma'am. Okay na po.
Ayun. After watching your, ayan, yung video kanina, ano masasabi nyo?
Confident siya masyado, ma'am. Ang galing.
Ganun lang. Be confident lang sa pag represent ng mga study nyo. And also, ano pa bang pwedeng masabi ko sa inyo? And by the way, ayan, reminder lang, make a PPT, PowerPoint presentation for your research that is already outlined. Okay? Hindi yung lahat na nandun sa Word nyo, mailalagay sa PowerPoint presentation. It should be the summary of the study na lang. Okay? Para at least may nasasabi kayo. Parang tulad niya, hindi naman lahat ng nasa PowerPoint na nilagay niya doon. Yung iba sinasabi niya. Mapapansin nyo, yung iba nilalagyan na
Ma'am,
lang ng an additional information, a little
ma'am,
bits
meron niya, no?
explanation. Ha?
Meron kang link ng video.
Ah, yes.
Pwede po
Bakit?
kami pa-send, ma'am.
Oh, sige, mamaya.
Thank you.
Pwede rin naman itong PowerPoint presentation na send ko sa GC. So, ayun. And for your may naano pala ako for the other lapses, the grammar, pwede yung nun, mag-critic the other panelists, 'di ba? Yung mga members ng panel members. So doon nila din titingnan 'yon. And for the pattern, siguro ako, okay? Yung kung paano nyo naisunod yung MRAD format, ayun, using the MRAD format, sundin nyo, parang nasa video kanina. First, greetings, introduction for your, introducing yourself, of course. Then, for the panel members, i-greet mo sila. Then, after that, sa conclusion, di ba? At least magbigay kayo ng quotation, mag-iiwan kayo ng kataga, okay, na hindi makakalimutan ng mga panel members.
Ma'am, this
Ano
will be
pa?
next week po or this week po?
Hindi pa naman na kasi hindi pa na pala yung letter na pinagawa ni Sir Kenji. As long as maibigay na yon, ayan, mag-i-inform ako, mag-update sa inyo kung when
Ma'am,
would it be.
ano po, may midterm exam pa po sa inyo or wala na?
We'll see kung maganda yung nyo. Pag-iisipan ko nga yan. Kung maganda yung research nyo, 'di ba? Oh.
Kasi, di ba po, this week na ata yung midterm.
Ano ba? So surprise ko nga kayo dapat niyan.
Sorry po.
Ay, sorry naman.
Wala na. Parang binubuko na ako ni
Ay, hindi ma'am, wala yun ma'am. Wala yun.
Gusto ko muna mag-focus muna sa research nyo. Then after
Okay po.
that, of course, re-rewardan ko kayo. 'Di ba? Lahat naman ng bagay may reward eh. Kung pinag-iigihan nyo, pinagbubutihan nyo yung ginagawa nyo. Okay? Everything comes with a price.
Ma'am,
Ganun lang.
after
Ha?
ng PPT, send namin sa inyo kasi kayo naman yung magpe-present nun, di ba? Or kami magpe-present po.
Huy, kayo? Ano ako magde-defense?
Hindi ma'am, kasi if sa defense, yung mag-share ng PPT, hindi makakapag-on-cam.
Bakit? Ay, ako magpre-present parang sa laptop ko, ganon.
Opo.
OP.
Dapat nga isa rin ako sa mga panel members. Charot.
Sige ma'am, okay lang po. Okay lang din naman.
Kasi 'di ba marami naman kayo sa grupo, dapat may isa talaga sa inyo na nagha-handle ng PowerPoint, yung nagmo-monitor,
Sige po, sige po.
naggagalaw-galaw sa ano.
Contribution, ma'am, pagpe-present.
Oo, gano'n kahit 'di ba? Yun na lang
Sige,
ambag mo
Chloe,
sa
ayun na lang
Naghahawak
yung
ng
ambag ko
kartolina.
Chloe, ayun na lang
Kunti
gagawin ko.
na daw
Ako gagawa
kami.
ng
Ma'am,
presentation.
95 ba yarn?
Hindi, bigay mo sa akin.
Alam
Ako
nyo, pag research,
magpe-present.
'di ba, mataas ang grade, oh.
Yes
Opo.
po.
Pero dapat nagbibigay ako doon sa deserving. 'Di ba, di lang
Ma'am,
ako nagbabas
98 ata
basta
yun.
di lang ako nagbasta-basta nagbibigay ng ng grade. Dapat alam ko na deserve niya yung grade na yon. Kasi nowadays yung ibang teacher nagre-raise ng concern about giving grades na 98. Okay, if it is the person or the students deserve that grade. Ganun lang sasabihin ko kasi pag ako nagbigay niyan, ide-defend ko talaga na deserve ng bata. May mga iba kasing teacher na bigay lang ng bigay, 'di ba? Wala namang mo 'yun, firm decision bakit niya nakuha 'yun. Okay?
Tama.
Nagbibigay ako kapag alam niya naman sa sarili niya na deserve niya 'yon, 'di ba? Alam mo naman ng research 'to, 'di ba? Mahirap. Okay, lahat na nakukuha sa process, nakukuha ng step by step, ganun. Alam ko naman 'yan, napagdaanan ko 'yan. Been there than that, 'di ba nga sabi nila? So, is there any questions pa ba?
Ma'am,
Mm.
ako, ma'am. Kailan po
Mm.
yung magmamock defense pa po ba, ma'am?
We'll see.
Dali na, ma'am.
Ang dali.
Parang na kasi,
ready
alam mo,
ng
naiisip ko din yan, kaso parang magiging scripted na pag nandun na sa defense. Alam mo yun?
Ma'am, wag naman ganun. Hindi kami nakapag-defense last year. As in, parang...
Oo, ma'am.
Bakit kayo hindi
kami
nag-defense sa
marunong.
research 1?
Kasi
Naku,
Hindi,
mahal
nasa
kami
amin,
ni
sir.
Sir Kenji.
Secret, ma'am.
Ma'am, baka naman.
anong baka naman? Iba ako sa kanya, iba siya.
Baka mahal mo din kami,
Gusto
ma'am.
rin namin, ma'am, gusto rin namin matry. Magisa, ganon.
O, diba? O, maganda nga yung ganun. Diba?
Gusto yung mapahiya
May
kami,
natututunan
ma'am.
kayo.
Sarap.
Gusto nyo lang pala mag-isa, ilalagay ko kayo sa kawali. Huwag nyo na kami
Gisahin.
idamay.
Oh.
Literal.
Oy, dali na. Oras na. Next subject ko na. Yung
Wala ka,
sina ko.
Okay lang, ma'am.
May
Papasukin
last
mo na sila
question
Ay,
ako,
sorry.
ma'am.
Ano? Dalian
Yung
nyo.
sinend niyo po, ma'am, yung tinuro niyo po is parang traditional siya, ma'am. Ang alam po namin kasi format, maiksi lang. Yung IMRAD, maiksi lang.
Yung sa yung sa video. Oo naman, maikli naman talaga yung sa MRAD. Kung makikita nyo naman Kasi
Yung
nandun,
susundin po namin, ma'am, yung sinend niyo, yung gawa sa Google Drive ba yun? Basta yun po yung susundin namin format.
oo, yun na lang. Kasi yun din naman ang binigay sa akin ni Sir
Thank you,
Kenji.
ma'am!
Pinag-aano kasi mamaya yung ibang panel members magreklamo. Minsan kasi di ako nagre-rely kay Sir Kenji. Forget may knowledge na talaga siya sa practical research. Pero ako, gusto ko ng alam mo yun, hindi ko masabi. Basta yun. Sige, mag-rely tayo dun sa ginawa na lang ng ibang students. Arigato.
Sige, ma'am, pasend na lang po kami ng
Sige.
video or yung PPT.
Okay, thank you very
Thank you
much,
po.
everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Morning po.
Okay.